Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasragya Chakshurumritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our ISKCON official YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss 11th mantra of Isopanisad. So it is stated, Vidyam cha ja tad vedobhyam saha vedobhyam saha avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya mritam asnute. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Since the creation of the material world, everyone has been trying to attain a permanent life, but the laws of nature are so cruel that no one has been able to avoid the hand of death. No one wants to die, nor does anyone want to become old or diseased. The law of nature, however, doesn't allow anyone immunity from old age, disease, or death, nor has the advancement of material knowledge solved these problems. Material science can discover the nuclear bombs to accelerate the process of death, but it cannot discover anything that can protect man from the cruel hands of old age, disease, and death. From the Puranas, we learn of the activities of Hiranyakashipu. So, like we have heard about Hiranyakashipu, how he wanted to avoid death, but he begged for, or he may say that he asked for so many boons, so that he wanted to cheat Brahma. You won't die in the day, die in night, and so weapons, etc. All sorts of boons you took. But the Lord not only killed him, but not only kept all the boons of Brahma, but still then killed Hiranyakashipu. So in this way, Brahma said that he couldn't award the benediction because even he, the material creator who rules all planets, is not Amar, he is not immortal. In this way, we see that he asked several boons, and Brahma granted all these boons. Till then, the Lord killed him. So his nails. No weapon was used to kill him, but he was killed by the Lord's nails. Nor was killed on the land, in the air, or in the water, for he was killed on the lap of that wonderful living being, and who was beyond his conception, Hiranyakashipu. The whole point here is that even Hiranyakashipu, the most powerful of materialists, could not become in the deathless by his various plans. What then can be accomplished by the tiny Hiranyakashipus of today, whose plans are thwarted from moment to moment? The Isopanisad instructs us not to make one-sided attempts to win the struggle for existence. Everyone is struggling hard for existence, but the laws of nature, material nature, are so hard and fast that they do not allow anyone to surpass them. In order to attain a permanent life, one must be prepared to go back to Godhead. That is the only way. The process by which one goes back to Godhead is a different branch of knowledge, and it has to be learned from revealed Vedic scriptures such as the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. To become happy in this life and attain a permanent blissful life after leaving this material body, one must study this sacred literature and obtain transcendental knowledge. The conditioned living being has forgotten his eternal relationship with God and has mistakenly accepted the temporary place of his birth as all-in-law. The Lord has kindly delivered the above-mentioned scriptures in India and other scriptures in other countries to remind the forgetful human being that his home is not here in this material world. The living being is a spiritual entity, and he can be happy only by returning to his spiritual home. So from his kingdom, the personality of Godhead sends his bona fide servants to propagate his message by which one can return to Godhead, and sometimes and the Lord comes himself to do this work. Since all living beings are his beloved sons, his parts and parcels, God is more sorry than we ourselves to see the sufferings we are constantly undergoing in this material condition. The miseries of this material world serve to indirectly remind us of our incompatibility with dead matter. Intelligent living beings generally take note of these reminders and engage themselves in the culture of Vidya or transcendental knowledge. Human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge, and a human being who doesn't take advantage of this opportunity is called a Naradhama. The rest of human beings, 4 lakh kinds of human beings are there. So the path of avidya, the path of avidya or advancement of material knowledge for the sense gratification is the path of repeated birth and death. As he exists spiritually, the living entity has no birth or death. Birth and death apply to the outer covering of the spirit soul, the body. Death is compared to the taking off, and birth to the putting on of outward garments. Foolish human beings who are grossly absorbed in the culture of avidya, nations, do not mind this cruel process. Enamored with the beauty of the illusory energy, they undergo the same miseries repeatedly and do not learn any lessons from the law of nature. Therefore, the culture of Vidya or transcendental knowledge is essential for the human being. Sense enjoyment in the diseased material condition must be restricted as far as possible. Unrestricted sense enjoyment in this bodily condition is the path of ignorance and death. The living entities are not without spiritual senses. Every living being is his original spiritual form, has all those senses which are now material manifested, being covered by the material body and mind. The activities of the material senses are perverted reflections of the activities of the original spiritual senses. In his diseased condition, the spirit soul engages in material activities under the material covering. Real sense enjoyment is possible only when the disease of materialism is removed, and in our pure spiritual form, free from all material contamination, real enjoyment of the senses is possible. A patient must regain his health before he can truly enjoy sense pleasures again. Thus, the aim of human life should not be to enjoy perverted senses enjoyment, but to cure the material disease. Aggravation of the material disease is no sign of knowledge, but a sign of avidya. Ignorance for good health, avidya or ignorance. For good health, the person should not increase his fever from 105 degrees to 107 degrees, but should reduce his temperature to the normal 98.6. That should be the aim of human life. The modern trend of material civilization is to increase the temperature of the feverish material condition, which has reached the point of 107 degrees in the form of atomic energy. Meanwhile, the foolish politicians are crying that at any moment the world may go to hell. That is the result of the advancement of material knowledge and the neglect of the most important part of life, the culture of spiritual knowledge. The Isopanisad herein warns that we must not follow this dangerous path leading to death. On the contrary, we must develop the culture of spiritual knowledge so that we may become completely free from the cruel hands of death. In this way, Vidya and Avidya, we should know these things side by side. So, the guaranteed path to the aim of Vidya is described by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which were presented in English as the Nectar of Devotion. The culture of Vidya is summarized in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 14 in the following words. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagavan satudangpati svatavya kritavyasya dheya pujyasya nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. Unless religion, economic development, and sense gratification aim towards the attainment of devotional service to the Lord, they are all simply different forms of nisyams, as Sri Upanishad indicates in the following mantras. So thank you for listening to this lecture, and please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like our channel and get the blessings of the Lord. Hare Krishna.